Hey, buddy, watch this.
Hello, Regis Kilbin is the name, and Hearthstone is the game, and welcome to the Advice Arena. I don't often play Arena in videos, but I do actually play a lot of Arena and have a decent win rate, so I figured it's finally time to make some Arena videos, and what better way to teach people how to play Arena a little bit better than just playing Arena myself and discussing my plays and drafts and so on and so forth. So each Advice Arena will feature a few different games depending on the length of the run and the length of the games, split into multiple parts for a single run most likely, but then I'll be doing multiple runs in the future as well. So this is Advice Arena number 1, and I'm going to play Druid. And the reason I'm selecting Druid, it's one of my favorite classes in general. You notice I have the Golden Portrait, but I also think Druid got a lot of cool cards out of Whispers of the Old Gods. In the Old Gods Arena meta has not really been defined just yet. Nobody knows exactly how things are going to work. But I think since Druid has so many strong mid-range minions nowadays that it might be a pretty solid Arena class that was already very good thanks to all its late-game cards. So I'm going to test it out, and like I said, this is still very new, so I don't know for sure how cards like Addled Grizzly, an Old Gods card, are going to look in Arena. I actually think it's quite bad, though, just because as a 2/2 for 3, that's a pretty poor stat allocation, and all of its value is backloaded. So on turn 3, it's very bad because it trades very poorly into 2-drops and even worse into 4-drops. You only get value from Addled Grizzly if it actually survives on the board. So very delayed gain in value, which is very risky in Arena when you're unlikely to keep cards alive. Plus, you might be top decking in a late game situation, and this one just, you have to play it by itself, right? You can't always combo it with another card to get the value. So these are all subpar picks to me, but I will choose Pint-Sized Summoner just because it is an okay 2-drop for its stats and potentially leads into some fun plays in the future. Okay, so up next, this is fun. All 3 of these are actually new cards. Nerubian Prophet's pretty intriguing because as a 6 mana that gets its cost reduced by 1, that means on turn 1, if it's in your mulligan, it's going to be a 5-drop. On turn 2, it's going to be a 4-drop, and on turn 3, it's going to be a 3-drop, which is sick because that's a 3 mana 4/4, so that's very good in Arena. But that's a little bit unreliable, and it's, if you top deck it on turn 6, for instance, it's not a great not a great turn 6 play. Infested Tauren is intriguing too. I think this card could be okay in Arena, but I have some doubts just because as a 2/3 on the first half, that dies so easily to so many different things. And even though it's 2 bodies, it's kind of a worse Piloted Shredder in many ways. And Piloted Shredder was a very good Arena card, but that's because it had a higher attack value and almost penalized opponents in a way for killing it. Squirming Tentacle, I think, is a reasonable card as well, just because a lot of things have 2 health on turn 2, and this could trade efficiently and stay alive. But it is somewhat weak to other 3-drops and many, or virtually all 4-drops, so it might kind of be a toss-away, but Taunt is good. I'm actually just going to pick the Infested Tauren, mostly out of curiosity, and I think it probably will offer a little bit more value than the Squirming Tentacle. Moving on, pretty interesting cards. Raven Idol, we all know pretty well. I think it's not a great Arena card just because it's somewhat unpredictable. It's nice to fill in on turn 1, but when you draw it later, the flexibility is okay, but the unpredictability is not great because you just don't know how it's going to fit in your deck. I like Earthen Ring Farseer as a card a lot. I often don't use it to heal my own face, but in fact to heal other minions, which can be valuable. Cult Master's good too in certain styles of decks, but in Druid, I think it's less valuable just because Druid's really more about playing bigger stuff. We're likely to get bigger minions in the future. So you might only kill off 1 minion per turn with Cult Master, and it might even be difficult to kill a big minion. So somewhat inconsistent, so I'll choose Earthen Ring Farseer here. Moving on. Goodness. Sunskin Gargoyle's terrible. Dread Corsair is pretty bad in a non-weapon class like Druid. I don't think Duskboar is going to be good just because it's so susceptible to pings. But on turn 2, if a mage decides to ping out a Duskboar, I guess you don't feel too bad. Or even on turn 3, which they may be pressured to do because this could deny them playing something with 4 health on turn 4. or on turn 3 as well. So maybe Duskboar's not actually that bad. If it trades for a hero power, it's 2 for 2, right? Here I'm just going to choose Ironbark Protector to start filling out our late game curve. We don't want too many late drops, just 2 or 3 really, but this is one of the best ones in Arena. It'd be nice to get either of these cards. I think they're both solid 2 drops, but Ironbark's just too good. Okay. These are not great cards. Dragonhawk is fine as a 3/3 for 3, but it's very unlikely to get its Wind Fury effect off. Salty Dog dies pretty easily to a ton of stuff. Gurubashi Berserker tends to live, but doesn't always trade very well just because it takes a couple attacks to get its attack value up. That said, I like it a little better than Salty Dog, even though we probably don't have a way to activate it. We may get it out a couple turns early, just thanks to like Pint-Sized Summoner or Innervates, which I doubt I'll take, but it's possible anyway. So we'll go with Gurubashi. Up next, Grotesque Dragonhawk might look intriguing, but there's already a very similar card to it that's not that good. I don't think we want another Duskboar. Evil Heckler's a solid card. A Taunt is always good to have, especially because it trades up into stuff, and 4 drops are great too. Okay. Clockwork Gnome is a solid 1-drop. I actually like having a couple 1-drops in my deck just to fill in mana curves. Polluted Hoarder. I don't think this card's very good. Card draw is okay in Arena. It's not the best. It's typically better to just play on curve and steamroll your opponent. So this is not a great on curve play just because it has very little health. Cult Apothecary. Heals can be good in Arena, particularly in the late game, but I think if your opponent has enough minions to make this heal super valuable, you might just be losing so hard anyway. I think I'm actually going to pick Clockwork Gnome here, just because it's the most hopeful of plays. Okay, I think Enhancement Mechano, okay Arena card, nothing too special. Twilight Summoner, I think is bad, just because it potentially takes a little while to gain value. In other words, if your opponent doesn't kill it for you, you have to attack with it, and then the 5/5 doesn't get to attack until the following turn. So it's a little slow. I actually kind of wonder if Wisps of the Old Gods is not a good late game drop. It's 7/7 in stats if you have an empty board. If you have 3 or 4 minions on the board, this could be a great bailout that essentially allows you to trade for free on a ton of stuff. I don't know if this is good. It's a new card, but I want to try it, so I'm going to select Wisps of the Old Gods here. Injured Blade Master's okay. Recycles, not great to me, but okay. I actually like Mech Bearcat a lot, and I do want a couple more bigger minions. So I'm going to go ahead and stick with Mech Bearcat. All right. Fun new stuff. Wow. I'm almost certain I'll take Ancient of Lore here, even though it's been nerfed, and even though these are 2 new cards. Scaled Nightmare, though, man, actually doesn't seem that bad in Arena to me. 8 health is very tough for people to deal with in Arena. It will be 4/8, but they'll have a turn to deal with it before it's a 4/8, but with buffs in Druid, like for instance, if we manage to Wisp of the Old God, you can kind of escalate the buff rate, but I still think Ancient of Lore is just too good. Even though it only draws a single card now, it's just card draw, a solid body, the potential to heal is needed. It's just flexible and high value. Blood of the Ancient one I should discuss real quickly. It's very unlikely we get 2 of these, so we'll never pull off the big combo. As a 9-mana 9/9, it's probably not actually that bad in Arena on its own, but it's far inferior to something like Northsea Kraken, because Northsea Kraken has that instant battle cry that does 4 damage, which can react to your opponent's board while still developing a minion. This one just develops a minion. So Ancient of Lore it is here. It's a good card still. We've already discussed Cult Apothecary. River Crocodile, obviously just super vanilla card. Wrath is a great Arena card. Flexible removal or card draw, both of which are great to have. Well, these are all bad. Dread Corsair still not good in Druid. A 4-mana 3/3 is just abysmal. Evolved Kobold, we don't really think we're going to have a lot of spells, and the body on it is miserable. Nightblade's not good either, but I think it's the best stats for its cost, and has the most potential value in the battle cry. This could dig us out a lethal in a late game situation. So I'm not happy about that pick, but I think it's our best bet. Alright, so Hungry Dragon can get punished pretty hard. I think it's a risky card to pick. We already have a couple 4-drops, but not great ones, I would say. Gorilla Bot's solid if you have a few mechs, but we have 2 mechs, but they exist. One of them exists in a later curve for mana than does Gorilla Bot, so that's an unlikely synergy. Bloodsail Raider, we don't have a weapon, but I think we need to start making sure we have enough 2-drops, because 2 and 3-drops are very, very important to have. And since neither of these are that enticing to me, I'm just going to go ahead and pick the very boring Bloodsail Raider. Ironfur Grizzlies, just an average card. Spectral Knight's pretty good, but we have some 5-drops and some bigger minions. I think I still want another Wrath, because we might need card draw or early game removal, so the flexibility here wins out for me. Alright, I think Battlefin Tidehunter is going to be a great arena card. War Golem is fine, but Mounted Raptor is very good, and as you can see from our curve, we're a little light on 3-drops so far. We only have 1, and since this is so good, we might as well just start filling that spot out. Alright, Starfire is a fantastic arena card. Gnomish Inventor is okay. Mark of Yasharaj, we don't really know yet. It's got some Beast synergies. It's basically Mark of the Wild with Beast synergy and no taunt. We do have 1 Beast, 2 Beast. Just 2 Beasts so far, so I don't think that's it. I think Starfire is too good. Removal and card draw are solid to have. Alright, Grotesque Dragonlike again, still not interested. Ancient Brewmaster is a decent card sometimes. I'm looking to see what kind of battle cries we have, or effects that could benefit from being brewed. Earthen Ring is certainly one. Nightblade, sort of, but really not. Ancient of Lore, sort of, but it's 11 mana to brew Ancient of Lore, so not very good. I think I'm actually going to choose the Eldritch Horror here, just to give us another giant body. After this, I don't think I'll want any more big minions, though. This should be more than enough. I'm just interested to see this card in action, too. Worgen Infiltrator is fine. Moonfire is not good. Druid of the Claw, though, is amazing, and a dream card in Arena. Silithid Swarmer, actually not that bad, perhaps, for Druid, just because you do hero power a lot, but I don't want to commit to hero powering on turn 4. So it's a little punishing to play this. If you play it on 3 and then you want to activate it on turn 4, or the next turn it can attack because you have to hero power. That's better in weapon classes. Mire Keeper, I think, is fantastic in every way. There might be instances where you actually ramp this into like a Mech Bearcat, but most likely you're just going to summon the 2/2 Slime and get a 5/5 stat total out of a 4-drop, which is amazing. Jeeves, I'm not interested in. We have plenty of card draw, and our curve is smooth. So, okay, Magma Rager's awful. Evolved Kobold is awful. Aberrant Berserker, on the other hand, is merely average, I suspect. 3/5 for 4 is okay. If it turns into a 5/5, it might trade up into a minion on a future turn. So, I guess I'll go here. Rocketeer is actually not too bad. Magi's inferior because we don't have a ton of spells to benefit. I'm going to take one more big minion, even though I said I wouldn't, just because North Sea Kraken is so good. I wish we could trade out our Eldritch Horror for it. Eldritch Horror was like the best minion we had, but not a good one. But we'll take it just... oh, man. We have 8 cards remaining in our draft. We only have 2 3-drops. That's bad. We're probably need 1 more 4-drop. And we actually still need some 2-drops. We have some removal, but we only have 3 minions at the 2 spot. But the problem is Mark of Yasharaj doesn't help solve that problem, because if we get that on turn 2 and there's no minions out, there's nothing that we can do with it. Moonfire is just too weak to put in the deck. I I may have to take another North Sea Kraken. It feels like my curve's just too slow now, though. Direwolf is not the best card here necessarily. I think Boulder Fist probably is the best card, but I desperately need some early game, so I'm going to pick it anyway. Might enable our Clockwork or do some fun stuff in a later turn. Fossilized Devilsaur is bad, even with the beast stuff. It's just a straight up worse Ironbark Protector. Pit Fighter's a solid card, but we have 3 5-drops and some 6s. We're still light on 3-drops, so I think I have to play Silent Knight. It's definitely not my favorite card because we don't have a lot of ways to make it better with buffs or activatable stuff, but I guess a spare part theoretically could. But I just need mana. I need a good curve at this point. We'll take Huge Toad here, just to fill out the 2-drops. Spawn of N'Zoth I don't think is any good. It's the cutest card ever, but very delayed effect, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video. Frostwolf Warlord's pretty unreliable. Huge Toad is totally fine. Tentacle of N'Zoth. Deal 1 damage to all minions. We actually have some stuff that benefits from taking damage. Mech Bear Cat, Gurbashi Berserker. I guess that's it, but I kind of like the idea of this just to potentially contest a 2-mana, 2-health minion. But I'm afraid it could kill our Duskboar eventually as well, or our Clockwork Gnome. That said, I think I have to pick it. Spawn of N'Zoth, to me, feels like a terrible 3-drop. Just as a 2/2, it just dies so easily, and it's unlikely to have something next to it when it dies. Starfire, solid card, but we need some early reliability. We'll take Druid of the Saber here. It's just got a ton of flexibility. The same problems with Mark of Shiraj still stand. Shiraj. We'll take another Direwolf. We're getting a lot of beasts now. Now I kind of wish we had a Mark of Shiraj. Actually, how many 2-drop minions do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I actually have enough early game now. Now I kind of wonder if I can't take a 6-drop. Because Volcanic Drake can potentially be, you know, a 4-drop, a 5-drop. I actually like Reckless Rocketeer a lot too. Sometimes it's just basically a damage spell for 6 mana. Other times it wins you the game, just from raw damage. I'm going to take the Volcanic Drake just in the hope that it can possibly be a 5-drop or a 4-drop in some instances. And then finally, there were 3. Nourish, I'm not in love with. We have a lot of card draw. Secret Keeper's totally useless in Druid, obviously. Mire Keeper's a good card, so we'll take that. I'm a little worried about our 3-mana spot still. We did not fill it out. We got enough 2-drops that we can probably squeeze in a 2-drop on turn 3 and feel alright most of the time. We have a solid 4-mana spot. Overall card quality, I'd say, is average to below average. We really don't get good until the late game with some North Sea Krakens, the Ancient Allure, Mech Bear Cat, Druid of the Claw. Our early game, we don't have anything that just screams we're going to win the game. So, I'm not confident that this deck will do particularly well. We'll see. I don't like to make guesses. I have no idea. I've won 12 games a lot. I've won 10 games even more. I've won more than my fair share of 7-8 type arenas, and I've also had some 0s and some 1s. The last time I ran stats to track arena was many moons ago, and I came in just shy of 6 wins per run, which is not truly infinite, but certainly infinite with daily quests. And if you're volatile enough, in other words, if you win enough 12-win arenas, typically you kind of become more infinite. And I'm very volatile. I'll either win 2 games or 12 games. So I was very, very close to infinite arena. So we'll see. Ironbark's obviously too slow. We'll keep our Duskboar, even though it's very susceptible to Rogue. It's in particular worse to Rogue probably because they can ping it and still retain a ping for the following turn. I'll actually keep Mire Keeper since we have the coin, and I'll keep the Wrath as well, just because who knows when we need it. Drake's not great. I'm not going to coin out the Dusk Boar. That just allows him to weapon and kill it and still be up on the board. I mean, obviously he'd take 4 damage, but who cares? So we'll just hang tight. If he weapons here, the Dusk Boar suddenly is still bad. If I play the Dusk Boar, he just kills it for free and plays a minion and we're behind on the board. The problem is I don't really have a great play. I can coin out the Silent Knight, but I'm not sure what that accomplishes. If he plays a 3-drop, it's very unlikely to die to Silent Knight. Plus, if I wanted to hero power next turn, I'd have to hero power on a 3-mana turn. I might coin out the Mire Keeper next turn instead, so I think as bad as this is, we're just going to hero power to start. So you can see some of these dead cards in our hand already. Let's hope he plays a 2-drop here. Or a 1-drop hero power. Okay, that's actually fine for us. Yeah, so I feel totally fine playing the Mire Keeper here. I might even play it for mana. If I coin this out, I still can do some stuff with 4 mana next turn. The reason I might play it for mana is because it trades into the Knife Juggler, or the Zombie Chow as it is, but if I summon a 2/2, the Zombie Chow can theoretically kill it for free. Plus, he has so many big cards already, I feel like ramping up is actually pretty beneficial. The faster we can get to that North Sea Kraken, the better. Yeah, so let's go ahead and do this. He may kill this, that's fine. That's fine. We could actually kill it next turn if we want. But we'll probably just play the Nightblade because it contests the Tomb Pillager. We could Silent Knight. We could Dusk Boar, but it still dies for free. He doesn't have to spend mana. I want to play the Dusk Boar a turn where he'd have to spend the 2 mana to weapon up, kind of to punish him for it. So the Nightblade here, as bad as the card is fine. This is really our turn 4, so we're kind of playing like a 4/4 on 4, if you remember, because of that ramp. So that's not too bad. Fortunately, it looks like he has a way to kill that. Oh, risky. Really, really risky. Oh, wow. Thanks. That is risky. It cost him 4 health. I think I wrath this down. A part of me wants to wrath it for 1, but I don't think I need to. I can just play the Silent Knight. Alternatively, I can actually Pint-Sized Summoner, wrath, and hero power this, since it's a little bit harder to kill. But and force him to trade into the Pint-Sized Summoner. He already used the backstab, right? So it's unlikely he has the other backstab. Why don't we go ahead and do that? This is a little bit of an intriguing play. We're setting up the trade here. I think it's unlikely he has a clean way to kill this, or at least an efficient way. If he has to hero power, it's 2 mana. I hope he doesn't have another backstab, because he just used one. If he does, that means his hand's getting pretty light on value. He'll need more cards soon. You're right, so it worked. We set up the trade pretty nicely here. What do we play, though, really? I guess I can actually Gurubashi. Then if I trade these 2 off, this will go down to 4 mana, so that won't actually work. But I can Gurubashi Silent Knight. That'll work. I'm playing the Gurubashi first before I trade to make sure that the buff goes off. And then we'll Silent Knight. This is not a great trade. This is kind of what I was talking about with Gurubashi, right? It's like he gets a free attack here, basically. And then he can weapon it and take 5 if he wants, but there's a chance he's like Fan of Knives or something, and we're very punished. Ooh, that's scary. I might just be dead here. Alright, I can give my dudes +2/+2. That would take him to 4 and 4. I could kill the Boulder Fist outright. Alternatively, I could ping the Gurubashi with my own Wrath and trade both in, and it would be dead, and I'd be left with a 2/2 and potentially the mana to play a Volcanic Drake and something else. I think I'm going to do that instead. See what I draw. Taunt wouldn't hurt. That would be good to heal on, but I just realized that this is a free trade, but there's nothing I can do about it. He has 8 damage for sure with the hero power force tank. So he only needs 1 extra damage. I'm actually going to hero power because I have a heal and a North Sea. I wonder if there wasn't a better way to do that, but yeah, I'm just dead. He had a pretty sick curve there. Eviscerate for 2. Deadly Poison, that'll do it too. If he'd traded here, it would have sucked, obviously, because I would have lost my minion to a Divine Shield, but then I would have had more time. I'm not sure where we lost that game, but we had a couple weak minions. Basically, we had to play... We didn't have a 2-drop. We had to play Nightblade. He had the backstab to clean it pretty well. He used his weapon pretty well throughout the game, too. I don't know. I'd have to watch that one again. Q seems long. I think the mana ramp on the Mire Keeper was still the right choice, because we wouldn't have had a good 4-drop to contest that Tomb Pillager anyway. Got some 3-drops this time, that's good, but we're on the not on the coin. I'm going to keep just this 1 3-drop and search pretty aggressively for a 2-drop. If I had a 2-drop, I would have kept the 4 likely. This is good. This will work. If he plays a minion we can kill, then we can start setting up the board. Smooth curve. If he plays a 1-health minion, I will probably still... I think I'll just hero power that. If I get a 2-drop, I'll still just play a minion.
My greetings.
I think we might have encountered a BMer. Nope, he ended his turn. Good. Yeah, I'll just hero power this. Wrathing it feels a little wasteful because I might need to Wrath his next play. Probably not. I'll probably still play the Mounted Raptor. Silent Knight actually trades into that pretty well. I'm going to Silent Knight. I think if I play this and he trades, the 1-drop is pretty ineffective against his 3-drop. I'm going to go ahead and play the Silent Knight. Because this might set up a trade with a Wrath, right? And we could still pint size for 4 mana. We don't have to play the Mire Keeper next turn. So if you play something with like 4 or 5 health, the Silent Knight can essentially trade for free with the help of the Wrath. So I might just Wrath that anyway. Yeah, I'm just going to Wrath pint-sized. He might have difficulty dealing with this. It doesn't actually help me next turn, though, probably. I could play this for 2 and maybe get a 3-drop. Maybe sneak in an extra hero power, but it's just what filled out the curve, so... Ouch. That is actually really, really tough. This is getting on my nerves. Druid of the Saber actually works out pretty well. I could Nightblade Druid of the Saber. I could Druid of the Saber Mire Keeper. I think that's probably the better option. I don't want to kill this yet, I guess. That said, I'm going to play this as a stealth. Yeah, I think that's right. I'm just going to load up the board here. I don't have anything to ramp into right now, so hopefully we don't just play into a really effective explosive trap and or unleash the hounds. But this stuff still is a little awkward for unleash the hounds. That doesn't help at all. We'll have to kill that, but these are very scary. If you played like Savannah Jaime next turn, we'd be in serious trouble. This is a fine double trade here, and we just get on the board. Yeah, so we'll just make these trades. That's cool artwork. I like that. I think I'll play the Mire Keeper over the Evil Heckler at this point, because we don't really need the taunt. I wish I had another 2-drop to load up the board, so we'll just obviously hero power and go forth. We're in a solid spot. He has a lot of cards. One is the Explorer's Hat. I think that's a bad arena card in many ways, but
don't worry, loves. The cavalry's here.
oh, that's fine. That's a hero power. Nope, never mind. It's better. That's not a great turn for him, though. He basically just contested my board. We'll just play on curve here. At this point, we still don't need the taunt, but it just fits, so it goes out. I think this might be the turn where we turn the corner on him. I don't know if he can keep up at this point. He's been doing a good job contesting the board every time. If he kills that with his bomber... Seriously? Oh... I don't think he has a way to kill it. Can he ping it? Oh, what? That's so ridiculous. That is so ridiculous. This is actually a great drop. I'm gonna... well, first let's do this. Yeah, it's not good. That's not good at all. It's cool. It's a cool card, but it's totally useless at this point. I can't believe he got 3 bombs. Not a single one hit my other guy. And he had the Elven Archer in hand. That would have been a free trade, too. Oh, that's actually good if he has to chunk that like that. That's more spare part value. What's he about to do right now? What card is this? That doesn't trade. He's got a, what's he got for Arcane Shot? Oh, whoa. He basically just gave me a 7 attack for free there. I'm just going to kill this like this. And I'm going to play the Nightblade. And I'm going to play the Clockwork Gnome instead of the Duskboar, even though it's off curve. Primarily just in case I want to bait out like an Unleash the Hounds. This won't die to Unleash the Hounds, and this will instead. So in other words, this is a more valuable minion, so if I can save it. And I'm like out of gas, right? Like I have to win the game with what's on board. So now I regret that. That's a good card, actually, just because I don't want to take more face damage. I have a dilemma here. I can trade these 2 guys in. I can use my face to trade in, but then I go down to 10. That's kind of scary. I can give up 2 minions to kill this, but then I give up 5 total health, because this has 4 health and this has 1 health. If I use the Mech Bear Cat, I only lose 2 health worth of minions, but I do lose an extra attack. But that said, this gives me a spare part as well, so I think this is the right option. gonna Infested Tauren. And I'm actually gonna go ahead and use this Whirling Blades. Putting it on this guy, because I think it's more likely that the buff will survive on her than it does on the Clockwork Gnome. In other words, he could kill the Clockwork Gnome pretty easily, most likely. So, or more likely anyway. I don't think he will, but... Alright, so we have lethal. Well played.
Well played.
You have to do this the right way or it wouldn't be lethal. Actually, I'm gonna... Well, I can't use my spare parts, so I don't want to mess it up. Alright, I was a little scared there for a while. He kept coming back on our board, contesting pretty well, but then we did finally turn the corner on the board peasants with that Mech Bear Cat. He couldn't kill the Mech Bear Cat. It looked like he was going to, but then he kind of just left it up, so that was intriguing. I still can't believe the Matter Bomber into the Elven Archer. That's crazy. This might be my last game for this particular video, since we already drafted. I think 3 games is more than enough for a video. So we'll catch up with this arena run next time. Keeping a 4-drop's not probably ideal in this scenario. We don't have a coin or anything to sneak it out early, so I need to make sure I have a 2 or a 3 first. Wrath is fine. Gurabashi's obviously too slow. A couple 4-drops, that's alright. Better with a coin, but we can maybe make this work. At least have a decent curve. Just hope he doesn't get out to 1-drop or anything too crazy. No Enervate shenanigans. I think I have to Wrath that. It's a little frightening that he could have another 2-drop. And then I'm going to be behind on board for a while. Hopefully he has to hero power here and he got greedy. That's the dream. Then we get ahead with Silent Knight. Perfect. I don't think typically that's a good idea, coining out your 2-drop. I think the reason he did it is because it was a minion whose damage scaled over time, so it's beneficial to get it out a turn earlier, and that makes sense. I get it. If I hadn't had an answer or a minion, if I'd had to hero power, he could have got something like 9 damage out of that. So playing the Micro Machine made sense, but usually it's not a good idea. This doesn't help necessarily. This Silent Knight's not that great if he plays a high health 3-drop. See, like, I can't kill that right now. I'm totally useless against that. We'll summon the slime here. We have a 5 mana play if we need to. We get to play another Mire Keeper. There's obviously a couple free trades here, but my hero power with the Earthen Ring can clean that up, and even the Divine Shield can too. So I'm okay if he trades this way. I don't mind taking 5 face damage from a Tauren Warrior if I have to contest the board. I need him to have a bad 4-drop though, would help. Swipe is not that good, actually. I mean, it killed a minion and a Divine Shield, but it's going to allow me to get up on the board pretty substantially. So yeah, I'm going to do exactly what I theorized. Heal myself, because that's the only target that's viable. We got 5 attack on board. That's pretty solid going into turn 5. I have some options next turn, a couple different plays. Potentially could get a cheap Volcanic Drake out with a huge Toad or something. If I could kill 3 minions, that'd be 3 mana. That guy's a little annoying. What's he thinking about doing? Innervating? What's he have for 0 mana? He already used coin. He could have Innervate. He could Moonfire or something, I guess. I don't know why he would do that, though. So see, hero powering this down to kill it makes a lot of sense to me, actually. I could still get 5 attack back on the board with a Mire Keeper hero power. I don't know what he's doing. I'm not sure he knows that his turn is over. This card is an Innervate or something. He just forgot his turn, I think. So if I trade hero power, that's 3 minions will die. This will go down to 3 cost. I'll have 4 mana remaining after the hero power, so I can actually play the Clockwork Gnome and the Volcanic Drake for 8 power on board. He already swiped too, so I think it's unlikely he has a second swipe for the 4/1. It would be a perfect swipe, but I think this is worth. If he has another swipe, we're in trouble, but at least he only has 2 mana remaining. We're starting to get into our big stuff, and Eldritch Horror is going to be a nightmare for him to deal with. But it's much better if you can play a card like Eldritch Horror when you're ahead on the board. If you're already behind on the board, they can kind of just ignore it or dance around it, and it's hard for you to clean up multiple minions on their side of the board. So it's very important that we're ahead here. Oh, no! Oh, well, that's actually a even stat swap. Sorry about that. Malfurion, you cheeky jerk. I'm just going to go ahead and play the Mech Bear Cat and trade. Actually, that helped me quite a bit here. This would have 1 health if it was the Drake. He could hero power it or swipe it or, you know, wrath it. He could still wrath it, I guess, but no card draw. I'm considering taunting this to deny like a hero power wrath or some kind of play. This having taunt also is just great because it does earn spare parts. So, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to need the taunt, so let's go ahead and do it. Just see what happens. But if he has to attack the Mech Bear Cat 3 or 4 times, we're going to earn a lot of value. Oh, yeah, see, I wasted the taunt there, but that's alright. We have enough big stuff that I don't feel too bad about that at all. That's a good trade for us. That's a good trade for us. Yeah, we're just going to make this trade and play our Eldritch Horror. We're not going to kill that Acidic Swamp Ooze, I guess, but he just used a Naturalize, right? Like, what can he kill this with? If he has 2 Naturalizes, ugh, it's going to be annoying. I mean, granted, he'll have 7 mana to gain the board back, but I think it's incredibly unlikely. Next turn we'll probably Evil Heckler, Mire Keeper, some sort of combination of stuff. I don't think Wisps looks good yet. We need 3 or 4 minions to really get value here. It's good, no answer. It's good. So we're going to have to trade here. That's a little unfortunate, but having a 6/7 is still pretty good. We're going to turn this into a Boulder Fist Ogre. He's thinking about something again. I lost which card was the Innervate candidate. It's going to get that +4 attack. Wow. It's actually a solid play. I kind of like it. I don't have a way to kill it, so it works. He's probably trying to set up this trade, but thankfully I do have the taunt. If I had a second taunt, to tell you the truth, I would play a second taunt as well. Just to ensure that he can't like swipe this and make this trade. But there's actually 5 mana into this card now, right? Mark of Nature's 3, so 5 into a leftover 8-drop doesn't feel too bad. This is a tough board for Druid. We can Wisps next turn if 3 of these minions survive. Probably not game-winning lethal potential, but maybe make some good trades and stuff. Swipe. Wrath is sick. That's exactly what I was worried about. Man, that's a good play. That's why I said I would have played a second taunt if I had it. So Wisps here would make this a 5/5 and a 4/4. So they would kill that, but not particularly effectively, huh? I think I leave this alive right now. I think I just leave it alive. Just gonna load up the board. And go face. He has 1 card remaining. Druid has trouble with board clear anyway. There's no super good trades for his Archmage. If 3 or 4 of these survive, I have an amazing Wisp turn next turn. So getting these out now seem to have multiple strategic advantages. That doesn't hurt me. That's fine. He's got a good trade here, of course, but I maybe could have saved this one to play with the Wisps, but I feel okay about that. Ancient Lord doesn't really do a lot for me. I'll just go ahead and Wisps and see what happens next. So I can actually kill this guy. I can actually clear his board. 5 and 5 and Wrath. If this Huge Toad hits correctly, I could be in luck. Oh, actually, no. This is the right way to do this. This is the right way to do this. We'll Wrath here to draw, and then we'll trade. We'll trade both of our 4 health minions into it. Actually, this is the right way to do this. I'm attacking with the Toad last to make sure it hits his face instead of the second minion, because this had enough damage to kill that minion anyway. So if the Toad had hit the other minion, it would have just been a waste. So the ordering there actually did make a substantial difference. He's going to draw a card off that. It's good for him and not as good for us, because we already have card draw. And he might draw into an answer. Is he going to Living Roots that? Oh, Stormpike. Wow, okay. That's actually solid. I can respect it. I have some dilemmas here. I think I'm going to Starfire the Stormpike. I could just Ancient of Lore, but it dies to cheap trades. If I Starfire, I can play both of these minions. Tentacle of N'Zoth is not particularly good, though. Let's just Starfire and see what we get. I'm Starfiring the higher attack minion instead of the higher health minion, just because it threatens more of my stuff. So in other words, I can play Bloodsail, right, and it doesn't die to it totally easily. But I'm actually going to play the Mounted Raptor. And I'm going to go ahead and play the Tentacle too. Just because these do 4 damage. If this dies to hero power or whatever in this trades, it'll kill this thing for me. I guess I kind of set up the death here too, but it's not a bad card. Doesn't help me any at all. It's awful. Oh, that's a good play. Man, that's a good minion. Shoot. I think I'll draw a card here. Cards are going to be more valuable than health still at this point. Urubashi's not actually too bad. I'm going to go ahead and charge this and deal with this guy just because it's possible to do so. He can trade hero power, but I'll be able to hero power that down. Hopefully he gets a weak draw here and we can finally stabilize. We need him to not get card draw and get like a 2-drop, right? Or an Innervate or something. Yeah, that's middle of the ground. That could be worse. He's valuing his health. Wow, that's good for us. He didn't use his hero power. North Sea Kraken is so close, but so far. I think I'm still going to play it just north to hit the face. Hitting this doesn't accomplish anything, really. But this sets up lethal. Now he has to kill the North Sea or Taunt, or he's dead. We could have like Urubashi Bloodsail, but it wouldn't have done anything. Yeah, that's game. North Sea is so good, such a strong card. Our late game definitely won us the matchup there. All right, so 2-1 so far. Still not the best deck, I don't think, but we're making it work a little bit. So that'll wrap it up for part 1 of this Druid Arena run in Advice Arena. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you did learn a little bit and actually get some advice along the way. So until next time, game on.